The Vietnam War, a complex legacy. The Vietnam War, a conflict that spanned from 1955 to 1975, stands as one of the most complex and controversial episodes in modern history. This protracted struggle emerged from a web of political, ideological, and geopolitical factors, and its legacy continues to reverberate globally. The roots of the Vietnam War can be traced back to the post-World War II era when Vietnam was a French colony. The desire for independence led to a protracted war of liberation against French colonial rule. In 1954, the Geneva Accords temporarily divided Vietnam into North and South along the 17th parallel, with the understanding that elections would reunify the country. However, these elections never took place. The United States became increasingly involved in the conflict during the early 1960s. The prevailing fear of communist expansion, known as the domino theory, drove U.S. policymakers to support the South Vietnamese government in its fight against the communist forces of the North, known as the Viet Cong. As U.S. involvement deepened, the conflict escalated. American troops arrived in significant numbers, and the war began to take a heavy toll on both military personnel and civilians. The jungles of Vietnam became a battleground, where guerrilla warfare and counterinsurgency tactics defined the combat. The Vietnam War also became a focal point of anti-war protests and a polarizing issue within the United States. Scenes of protests, draft resistance, and civil unrest played out on American streets, reflecting the deep divisions within the nation. The war's toll on the Vietnamese people was immense. Millions were killed, wounded, or displaced. Villages were destroyed, and the countryside scarred by the conflict. The use of chemical defoliants like Agent Orange left a lasting legacy of health and environmental problems. Internationally, the Vietnam War had far-reaching implications. It strained U.S.-Soviet relations during the Cold War and deepened the divide between the two superpowers. It also fueled anti-American sentiment in many parts of the world. By the early 1970s, a weariness with the war and mounting casualties led to a shift in U.S. policy. Negotiations in Paris aimed to bring an end to the conflict. On January 27, 1973, the Paris Peace Accords were signed, officially ending American involvement in the war. The fall of Saigon on April 30, 1975, marked the end of the Vietnam War, as North Vietnamese forces took control of the South. Vietnam was reunified under communist rule. The Vietnam War left deep scars, both in Vietnam and in the United States. The war's aftermath saw efforts to heal wounds and reconcile differences. The U.S. normalized diplomatic relations with Vietnam in 1995, paving the way for a new chapter in their relationship. Today, the Vietnam War serves as a reminder of the complexities of modern warfare and the profound impact of decisions made by leaders. It remains a symbol of the enduring human cost of conflict and the importance of pursuing peaceful solutions to international disputes. The legacy of the Vietnam War continues to shape foreign policy, military strategy, and the ways in which societies grapple with the consequences of war and division. It stands as a stark reminder of the price of armed conflict and the imperative of seeking peaceful resolutions to global challenges.